Right then, James, as you can tell, I'm pretty eager to get out there, but obviously I need a float rig. Can you just show me a quick, simple one, mate?
Yeah, sure. What I've selected for you, Andy, is just a standard insert waggler float.
What's a waggler, James?
Well, it's just a nickname I think that's been derived over the years because the float is attached bottom end only, and when it's on the line, it waggles.
Ah, right, okay.
Okay? So this particular version has a capacity of 3 AA.
What does that mean, mate?
Well, that relates to the shot. Remember we looked at the shot, and the second largest size that we've got here is AAA or AAA. So this float capacity is 3 AAA. So that's a really important consideration to think about, Andy, because a fundamental mistake people make when you see them fishing is they don't shot the float correctly. By that I mean you need to balance the amount of weight that you put on the rig so that the float dots down perfectly. So if you had any more shot, the float would go under. Obviously the reason that we use a float, apart from it to enable the bait to get to where you want it to get to, is to show the bite. And if you leave a lot of the float sticking out, so by not putting enough shot on the float, you'll miss lots of bites because fish will feel the resistance and you won't hit the bite.
Right, okay.
So that's where it's really critical to get the weight critically balanced to the capacity of the float. Okay?
Okay, yeah, brilliant.
Okay, as I mentioned, this is an insert waggler, and insert wagglers are great for using with smaller baits such as maggots and casters. And I'm going to start us off on some maggots today, just to try and see what's in the lake and see what we can catch. So I think we should actually go about making the rig up, all right?
Yeah, brilliant.
Okay, so we've basically got to thread the line through the eye of the float. Now you'll notice that I use a quick change adapter. Now, it's pretty obvious in terms of what that does, but you see a lot of people make the mistake of threading the line directly onto the float eye, which is fine, it works perfectly, but it means that if you want to change your float to a bigger or smaller float, maybe you want to change the bait, maybe you want to change how far out you're fishing, maybe the wind gets up, you need a heavier float. You want to be able to quickly change the float from one to another without actually breaking the rig down. So that's a really neat feature, the quick change adapter. Okay, so we're going to thread the line through the eye on the quick change adapter. And then we're going to add the bulk shot. Now, waggler rigs are quite unique and they use the majority of the weight to cock the float is used around the base of the float. In this case, as we said, it's 3 AAA. So I'm going to put more than 2/3 of the weight around the float. So I'm going to place 1 AAA above the float. You'll notice that I only gently squeeze that onto the line.
Yep.
Another AAA shot below the float. Okay, so we've got 2 AAs either side of the float.
Yep.
Now I'm going to get a BB shot, which is obviously slightly smaller than a AAA, and I'm going to put that below it as well. So there you go. We've actually got 3 bulk shot on the float, and as you can see, I can move the shot quite easily without damaging the line.
Is there any purpose of why you can move the float up and down?
Yeah, another good point, because you want to be able to adjust the depth that you're fishing. You'll see that when we start fishing, the first thing we'll always do is plumb the depth to determine the depth of the water that we're fishing in. You might not always want to be fishing on the bottom, but you want to know how deep the peg is. The fish might come up in the water, so you might want to shallow up the distance between the float and the hook. That's the distance that dictates how deep you're fishing.
Right, okay.
Yeah? So being able to move the shot efficiently and without damaging the line is very, very important. So we've got the bulk shot now around the waggler float. What we're going to do is going to add some smaller shot down the line. And I'm going to take these number 8 shot, and I'm going to take 4 of those, and I'm going to place them on the line. And I'm also going to take some number 10s, I'm going to take 2 of those, and I'm going to put them below the number 8s.
Okay.
So we've got 2 number 10s, then going up to 4 number 8s. Okay? This take a little while. A good tip when you're applying this shot is to always put them at the bottom of the line. It's tempting to position them in the correct manner up the line, but by fixing them at the bottom, you give them chance to, by moving them around, fit well onto the line without damaging it. So then there's one number 8, I'll literally pull that up, put another number 8 on by lining up the line in the groove of the shot.
Yep.
And then gently biting it. So another one. Here's number 3. Number 4. Okay, and then as I said, we're going to just get 2 number 10s and we're going to put them below the number 8s. So you might ask the question, Andy, why do you have 6 small shot? Why not 2 medium shot? Well, again, it's to give us flexibility with the rig. If I've got more shot, I've got more permutations to create different types of presentation. By moving the shot together, I can have a bulk style of presentation. By spreading them out, I can make the bait fall very naturally and slowly through the water. It just depends on the conditions you're faced with and what fish you're fishing for.
Right, okay. Now I'm hooked on fishing.